But first, I want to start with the writer's strike. I'm happy about the writer's strike for two reasons. Let me explain. A strike is not something you should necessarily be happy about, but I'm happy for two things. One, I'm glad that the writers are standing up for themselves. I think that the people who really matter in Hollywood, whether it's the TV industry or whether it's the movie industry, is the writers. Back in the old days, the way that they would hire and start shows is first they would hire the writers, because they knew if you had good writers, you were going to have good material and you were going to have a good show. And then the rest of it they just fill in, like, yeah, okay, they do the casting, etc. But the most important thing were the writers and the producers that were going to create the show. And they were smart, and that's how John Pike built some of the biggest television shows in history. Now, these days, you go to any movie, they hire the writers last. It certainly appears that way, and from my experience and anecdotal evidence that I've talked to people, that's how they work it. Like, okay, first we figure out what we're going to blow up. And then we'll figure out, okay, is it a plane that crashes into a train or a guy who jumps off the train to land on the plane, and then he surfs on the plane for 30 minutes while there's a car crash and a car chase scene going on underneath. Anybody want to write this freaking thing? What's happening? What's the plot? Where are we going towards? Why do you have the car chase scene in the movie? Yeah, we'll hire the writers later. Come on, who cares about the writers? And that's why you go to the movies and 89% of it is crap. Well, there's Julia Roberts is in it. I don't give a damn who's in it. Well, unless it's Joaquin Phoenix or Russell Crowe or Christian Bale. Or who's my British guy that I like? The guy who's in... Why am I blanking on his name now? Clive Owen. Oh, God, he was so good in Closer. Apparently, I do care who's in the movie. So scratch that. All right, so I got man crushes on some of the actors. I think they're cool. I almost said hot. Oh, my God. I'm out of control. Anyway, but of course, putting all the goofy stuff aside, good scripts make good movies. So I'm glad they're asserting themselves. I hope they hold strong. Look at me. I'm so liberal now. I'm so pro-union. Let's go union! Oh, don't none of you scabs cross the line. Now, Teamsters have trucks that might have to cross some lines because of contractual things. Contractual obligations, my ass. Teamsters don't cross lines. I'm amused by the girly men television hosts. Okay, it's funny because I'm a little bitter about it and I'm a little amused by it. Let me explain. The television guys, all of a sudden, boo-hoo. What am I going to do? I can't do the show without my writers. Tonight Show, Letterman, Colbert, Daily Show. I mean, I love these guys. Don't get me wrong. I do. And in a lot of ways, I look up to them, right? But what happened, tough guy? You can't put on 22 minutes without 15 writers? They're like, oh, but you can't expect me to do a 22-minute show for 4 days a week without 15 writers. How would I do it? I don't know, dude. Grab a paper and pen and get to work. What do you... I mean, look, we're nowhere near as funny as them. I get it. Okay, and my dad, this is part of what makes me bitter. My dad calls me, why you don't be more funny like Stephen Colbert? Like, what? Yeah, like Stephen Colbert and his 15 writers, right? And I love them, and they do a great job, and his writers do, and he does, and does a great job of delivering it. But look at us, man. 5 days a week, we do this show, and then we do a post-game show that seems to last forever, okay? Because we're trying to help out our members, give them a little extra, quality programming. Then we do the entertainment and the sports clips for our YouTube channel. By the time we're done, we do 3 hours of content 5 days a week. Where's our writers? Where's our staff? Hey, are they on strike, guys? Hey, Sus, JR, are they on strike? How are we going to do the show? JR, what are you going to do? How can you... Nobody's giving you material. You spoke earlier. Who wrote that? Did you come up with that on your own, JR? Well, that was awfully clever of you. What happened? Did your writers leave? Now they say, oh, the shows are on hiatus. 22 minutes, can't do it. It's too long. Come on, man, as Wes would say, grow a sack. Put on a show. Let's see what happens. Okay, let's see what you got. And I'm telling you, man, look, Jon Stewart, I love the guy. Absolutely love the guy. You tell me you can't put together 22 minutes of television? All right. I know he can't. I know. Because television guys are pansies. They can't. If you don't have 12 writers, you can't put that on a show. Oh, yeah. You know what? Look, radio guys, and we're also on the internet. So we get no respect, right? So give us a little leeway to gloat here that the TV guys can't hack anything without a whole army of writers. So I'm having fun. I like how they are all folding up right away. And, like I said before, respect the writers.